Welcome everyone to Walking with Shamans. I am Dr. Antonia M. I'm the host of the Inner Power Hour radio show and author of the Inner Power workbook and curriculum. I'm also the founder of the Walking with Shamans Vision Quest program. Now, as a healer, as a metaphysician, and also as a student of enlightenment, I've had the good fortune of walking with shamans and master teachers for most of my adult life. And some of those experiences led me to the mountains and jungles of Peru. Now, going anywhere with a shaman is always a magical adventure, not only because of the magical things that a shaman can make happen along the way, but also because shamans have the ability to open your magical eyes and ears to this hidden world, and they can invite you right into that world. So in this short time that I have with you, I'd like to share a little bit about my journey into that other world and into the incredible knowledge and experiences that took place there. First, let me say a few words about shamanism and about the shamanic path. For me, the shamanic path is like a spiraling labyrinth that leads you down the rabbit hole and through many portals, just like these two pre-Inca structures that you see pictured here. The one on the left is a spiral path that leads down to a flowing stream of fresh water. So if you can imagine now, just picture it. You're standing out on a desert plain, and there's a whole field of these spirals going down into the earth. And they're all connected through this underground passage. So the water flows through this passage, through each of the spiral chambers, into a reservoir that fertilizes this desert soil. And to this day, thousands of years after this thing has been built, nobody knows, where's the water coming from? How is this string of spiral chambers causing the water to flow? It's a big mystery. So our shaman thinks that the spiral shape itself, the sacred geometry of that system, is generating a force that causes the water to flow. And there are many ancient structures in Peru that are just like this. You're standing right there, you're seeing the thing work, do its magic, but your mind is boggled by whatever mystery these ancient people managed to tap into. And that, to me, kind of describes the experience of walking the shamanic path and walking with shamans. And so the spiritual work that one does on the shamanic path, I think, is kind of like these ancient marvels. You kind of take the spiraling path down into the depths of your energy, down into the depths of your nature, of your reality. And then you pass through these different openings because you yourself are starting to open. You're starting to access, starting to enter these new levels and these new areas within yourself. It's as though the energy that was compacted into this tight spiral of energy begins to uncoil, kind of like this path, and you get a different view of yourself. And though it seems on the outside that you are gaining new knowledge and new power, what you're really learning to do is access the knowledge and power that's already there. It's just that it was so deep, it was so far down, you hadn't been able to reach it before. So the shamanic path crosses the boundaries of time, space, and reality. And as you do that, you also cross the boundaries of your own limitation. And the more you're able to do that, the more you're able to just put your arm out there and call forth the energy at will. Kind of like this, blue eagle. Imagine that you could summon that kind of power and just have it resting on your arm, sitting, a bird in the hand. How you step through the portal into non-ordinary reality and non-ordinary awareness depends on what lineage, traditions, and what ancestors you're working with in the particular path of shamanism that you're walking. And it also depends on what path you're on internally. Shamanic practice evolves with you. And although you may begin the journey with a shaman, ultimately the shamanic path becomes a path all your own that leads to your awakening. There are many paths in shamanism. In addition to Peruvian shamanism, I've worked in other traditions including Tibetan and Toltec shamanism and some African shamanism. And on the outside, shamanism looks to be about ritual and ceremony. But those are just the tools of shamanism. That's not what shamanism is about. So in this presentation, we'll talk a bit more about those tools used by the mountain and jungle shamans of Peru and how they assist in accessing other worlds. So let's meet some of the shamans that I worked with in the mountains and jungles of Peru. You have Don Francisco and his wife, Doña Bernardina. We have their son, also named Francisco. And then we have another shaman. Her name is also Doña Bernardina, and you'll notice she's dressed a little differently than Don Francisco's wife because they live in the different areas of Peru. Then we have Don Victor and his apprentice Rene. You'll be hearing a lot about them. And all of these shamans each have their own way of working with you and with each other as well. And as you can probably tell just by looking at them, these shamans are indigenous people. And in particular, they are Quero people. The Quero are one of the indigenous groups in Peru, and they consider themselves to be the direct descendants of the Inca. And the language that they speak is Quechua. And our shaman Don Francisco had been at one time the leader of the Quero people. And you know, walking with these shamans was kind of like journeying with a long line of ancestors. And it was such a privilege to have that, to be able to tap into ancient knowledge, to be able to tap into ancient rituals and ceremonies that have still been preserved. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the journey itself. Come walk with shamans this summer. It's a magical adventure and a life-changing opportunity to study with master shamans and to experience the incredible for yourself. Go to www.walkingwithshamans.com for a day-by-day itinerary and all the trip details. There's limited space on the Vision Quest, so reserve your spot now at www.walkingwithshamans.com. I'm Dr. Antonia M., and I hope to see you there.